Okay. Back in the basement, y'all. I'm switching up the format because I think this is gonna be faster for me being like not having to actually write on the board and do all the other mumbo jumbo, and I could just kind of like take you through all my documents. And so instead, I mean, I'm acting like this is for y'all, but it's kind of for me. So we're gonna jump into contracts. And to jump into contracts first, I'm gonna actually start with something that is like what contracts means to me and how I frame it in my head. Because once I have the background and the purpose of why contracts in my head, at least, um, it makes everything kind of stick better. And so, like, of the web of things, once I have that purpose web, once I stick cases and concepts in it, it just kind of it helps me. And so, to start, you can see my screen. I have a little paint thing, and so to kind of showcase what contracts means to me, um, right? We have. Oh, come on! Don't do this. Maybe. Contract. I got the wrong ink. What's going on here? That makes sense. Okay, so contracts, right? And in a contract to me, well, a contract according to the restatements, right, is um, a promise or a set of promises for which the law gives a remedy if it's breached. Okay, and so promises, promises that law gives a remedy for if it is okay. And how I see the purpose of it, because we have the definition of a contract here, and we'll talk about like the definitions of promises and whatnot. But assuming, I mean, it's just kind of intuitive what a promise is. We all make promises in our lives, but for why? And I think I heard this somewhere before, but if you really think about like how helpful contracts are to society, like how helpful are they? And if you really think about it, they're really helpful because what kind of happens with a contract is if I make a contract with somebody, and I can start drawing pictures now. If this is me, right? One day when I'm bald and taller, and I make a contract with somebody else, right? And it's for, a good or a service that I don't know, what is this? Maybe it's a platter of like a food that I made or something. And uh this is some kind of cutting board that this person invented. And maybe they have a lot of cutting boards, and I have this food that's special, and I make it for myself, but I sell it to other people because I am the only one with the knowledge of how to do this for now. And that we exchange it, right? I mean, right now, this little cutting board for this person, right? We'll call this person B, and this is J for me. And this cutting board doesn't have as much value as it does to me because I perceive it as more value. Moreover, this little platter, right, has less value to me than it is to this person. And so when we exchange, we both benefit, right? Not only that, but the more people start to trade, so now, right, I move on with my life, and now I have this cutting board, and with this cutting board, I learn how to make cutting boards myself, and I actually get really good at making like tables, right? I get really good at making tables, and now, right, there are other people that want to, buy these tables, and not only that, but when I get these tables, I now have to like hire people to help me make these tables and whatnot. And so, if you really kind of think it now, I'm making these exchanges, and they gave me, um, I mean, let's say they give us money, right? Like the easiest example, and I give them this table. I mean, they benefit from getting the table, and I benefit from getting their money. And um, now, I mean, there's this externality where now I'm incentivized to like make more tables, right? And kind of other people benefit because now, I mean, now if you don't want to buy tables here, I mean, now I know that I want to make more tables and more people want to join the fray. And so now when I think about contracts, I kind of think of it as like a wheel, right? Because by and large, a contract has these positive externalities. So in general, the more contracts, right, a society gets put into, the more benefits that can be cranked out for people. And so in general, the more contracts, the more you can incentivize people to just crank out these contracts, right? The better everybody else ends off. Um, that's the theory in my head of it. And I think that also helps me understand why we're reluctant to say things are not contracts or yeah, because we kind of want things to be secure in that way. I mean, like on a practical side, if people go into contracts and make promises to create these goods and services to put them out in the world and to benefit personally for themselves, and they can't rely on other people, right? You get this like this insecurity with things that will help everybody. And so the purpose of this society in my head, when I think of it like this, makes it make more sense. Maybe this is helpful to you, maybe it's not. This could have confused you for all I know. Uh, but if you don't, if you got this far, then maybe something resonated. If not, then just move on to the next thing because that's going to be with the actual content that this talks about.